True happiness is to enjoy the present without being too anxious about the future. When it comes to seeking happiness in the present, can nature help us? Here is a poem where the poet urges the reader to experience joy and pleasure that the natural springtime delights offer. Enjoy the poem A Prayer in Spring by Robert Frost. This poem is short and simple one. Here, the poet Robert Frost is sitting in an orchard and there are so many flowers, trees and birds around him. He is enjoying the most attractive and beautiful sights in nature and experiencing immense pleasure that is flowing in the nature. And also, he invites the readers to find delight in the springing of the year. And he pleads to the divine to help him to live and enjoy the present. Before starts the poem, let's know a basic information about the author. Robert Frost, he was born in 1874, was an American poet, is much admired for his realistic verse that depicts the rural life of New England. Some of his most notable works are The Road Not Taken, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, A Boy's Will, and After Apple Picking. He won Pulitzer Prize 4 times and was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature 31 times, and he passed away in 1963. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away. As the uncertain harvest, keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. Here in this first stanza, in the first line, the speaker, that is, the poet Robert Frost, is addressing the supreme power, that is God. He requesting to the God that he and his fellow beings be afforded the foresight. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today and give us not to think so far away. Here, look at the first line. Instead of today, here it is given or it is mentioned today. That means here the poet mean by this every day. So he suggests that they all might be able to take or we all might be able to take pleasure in the flowers today, that is every day, and not to think so far away, that is refrain from putting our thoughts only on the coming uncertain harvest. Live in the present and enjoy the pleasures surrounded us. By calling the harvest uncertain, that is not sure, the speaker lays his emphasis on the very much needed ability to live in the present moment instead of constantly looking to the future for enjoyment. He suggests that we all refrain from putting our thoughts only on the coming uncertain harvest, that is not sure one, that is don't look at the future. Live in the present moment. That's why the poet says he emphasizes on the very much needed ability to live in the present moment and enjoy the pleasures which surrounded us instead of looking forward for the future enjoyments. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchard white, like nothing else by day, like ghost by night, and make us happy in the happy bees, the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. The speaker then unveils the quality of spring that usually give enjoyment and pleasure. Here, give us pleasure in the orchard white. The orchard white refers to the budding flowers that will later provide the ripe fruit. However, the speaker wishes, that is, the poet wishes that his fellow beings, that is, everyone, will appreciate the beauty of those blossoms in the present and taking pleasure in them even during the night time. Like ghost by night, see children, like nothing else by day, like ghost by night, that is taking pleasure in them even during the night time when they appear like ghosts. And make us happy in the happy bees, the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. The speaker also requests his fellow beings to experience happiness with the happy bees, and they perform the important task of touching the blooms of orchards, that is, kissing the blooms of the orchards, and the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. Dilating means spreading or wider, become wider, or expand round the perfect trees. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrust in with needle bill, and of a blossom in mid-air stands still. Again, the speaker wants everyone to see happiness in the darting bird, that means which is a hummingbird that seems to move like a meteor. It thrust, here it is meant by press. It thrust in with a needle bill, that means slender beak, that is bird's beak. So it press its beak in the flower to drink nectar by standing in mid-air. And here the poet unveils a perfect mental picture through the proper blending of words. The meteor that thrust, here meteor means what? It shows its movement. Okay, the hummingbird that seems to be more like a meteor, and it presses its beak in the flower to drink nectar. For this is love, and nothing else is love, the which it is reserved for God above to sanctify to what for ends he will, but which it only needs that we fulfill. Towards the end of the poem, the poet affirms what love is and what is not, and the speaker feels strongly that there are many aspects of life that are not understood well by the human heart and mind, and we human beings simply pass the responsibilities of our unanswered queries to God. Here, the word sanctify, it means to clear or to clarify or to purify. That's why we just pass the responsibility of our unanswered queries to God. Then, children, however, the simple pleasures of spring are completely understandable and free for everyone to experience. So, this spring season that gives so many enjoyment and pleasures, and it is understandable and free for everyone to experience. Finally, the speaker wants his fellow beings to be endowed with appreciative attitudes, with the powers of observation. And finally, he says, experience and enjoy the beautiful sights in nature every day.